What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Brown Uncensored Show. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related. So you gotta stay tuned to see what I'm gonna talk about. Now, this past week, I had the opportunity to host an award show for a nonprofit sector here in Atlanta, Georgia. And it went really, really well. It went well. It was so nice to get out and about and be in the city. I haven't been here in a while. And it just feels good to be back. It really does. But as I was meeting so many different people and connecting with folks and all that, it came to my attention that this year, 24, is actually 10 years since my very first event emceeing gig. And it's such a full circle moment. So for me to be at this event now where I'm getting a script and I'm talking with the head of H&R and it's just an all around, it's the moment. It was a complete opposite when I did that initial gig over 10 years ago. And just to give you guys a little bit of context, I was hired and there were so many things that I learned from that experience because I was so excited to quote unquote be hired by someone that I didn't get paperwork. There was no contract. So there was nothing binding them to paying me, and there was nothing binding me to doing the actual service. But nonetheless, I was super excited to do it. And it was for someone that I thought was a friend, but that's a whole nother story within itself. And everything that could have gone wrong in that trip went wrong, but that was the only way I was going to learn how to conduct myself as a business versus a friend. And I had to learn it. I had to learn it the hard way, unfortunately. And they had promised to take care of my plane ticket, my lodging, all that stuff. I ended up coming out the pocket, getting myself out there to Texas for a Wounded Warrior project. And then it came about the lodging situation and something happened and they weren't able to book the room. They were overbooked. But if you allotted a certain number of rooms at a hotel, there should not be an issue checking in, huh? Shouldn't be an issue, but nonetheless, I had to learn that lesson as well. Getting my stuff put out of a hotel room that I hadn't fully paid for and was promised to me essentially, but I didn't actually put up for it. Getting my stuff put out of that hotel right before the event is supposed to start was disastrous. It was disastrous. I had to get someone to drive me to the hotel, grab my stuff because they were literally putting it out of the room, and basically host it in someone's car while I host this event where the building refused to turn on the power because the organizer hadn't paid the balance. Like, I cannot make this stuff up, y'all. I'm a creative person. I come up with all kinds of stuff. I cannot, for the life of me, I can't create stories like this because it's just so absolutely absurd to be real. This is real life. And so we don't have any power. There's no lights. There's no microphone. There's no PA system. There's no music. I had invited people locally from Atlanta to come down to Texas to perform for these people. These are soldiers and families and friends and all different type of people in regards to the military were there. And this was an embarrassing situation to be in. Absolutely embarrassing. Halfway through the program, so I have to actually start the program basically yelling at the top of my lungs and hoping that all of the 300 people that are supposed to be in there can hear me in this big room. it was absolutely crazy. I had just gotten my makeup done. I slipped into this beautiful gown, and it was just a whole lot of mess, y'all. It was a whole lot of mess. And ultimately, we got everything done. And I guess they had paid the building something because they turned the power on halfway through the program. And it was just it was a disastrous event to where if I wasn't the person that I am and who I've become, that situation would have deterred me. That situation would have turned me off to doing events and trusting people and all these things, right? But it didn't. It made me not want to deal with that particular person ever again in any aspect of life. Because not only have you bewildered and completely just, you've pulled the wool over my eyes, everybody else that was out there, you've done that. And I'm not okay with it. And it's not going to happen again with me involved. Absolutely not. And from that point on, I just stopped dealing with that person. But I remember how angry I was. I remember how embarrassing it was. And I made a promise to myself in that moment not to ever allow myself to be taken advantage of. And for people to take my kindness for weakness, good luck to you. Good luck to you. And for me now to go places where they have a script prepared for me, and I'm so super excited to sign my contract and look over the details and make sure everything is what it's supposed to be. It's a beautiful thing. It's a heartwarming thing, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely positively love it. And it is what it is. It is exactly what it is. And I feel blessed. I'm thankful. And I'm looking forward to the future. Point blank period. I am looking forward to great things to come. And it's only up from here. Because that right there, that moment back in 2014, I think it was around September-ish. It was around September or so. And it was a disaster. It was the worst feeling in the world to not have the details, but also not knowing that I needed to get those details. So having went through that, I made it my personal mission not to ever go through that again, not to allow myself to be in that position. So one of the first things that I ask for when people want to book me and book my services, okay, what's the contract looking like? What is going to be expected of me? How long am I going to be needed? What is that going to take? I need to have all the specifics because being new and you're just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you can jump into situations and not understand that people see that you're green. They see that you're naive and you don't know what to ask. And they can slowly but surely just pull you into some bull. And you're not going to realize it in time. You're not. So that's my little take on that, darling. So that is my take on that. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. And keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them in the face and tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. I love y'all. Have a great week. Deuces.